Hi folks, well the sun's shining and I thought I'd do a new video inspired by the problem that I had on my mate's Triumph Speed Triple. This one is just a very quick video about how to measure the resistance on your pickups, because I know it sounds like voodoo black magic to a lot of people, but it's actually very simple and I just thought I'd show you. It's a 2-3 minute job, so here we go. Every season start there is always the question, why won't my bike start? And it's usually just because it's been sitting for 4 or 5 months. The carburetors are probably dry, maybe there's a problem, I don't know. But what always pops up is the question of the ignition. Is it sparking? If it's not sparking, why not? And this is where you start with the pickups. The pickups is a part of the ignition system, and I just thought I'd very briefly explain what it does and how to check it and see if yours works. So basically I would first of all like to show you off the bike what the pickups look like, and this is what I'm talking about. These are the pickups. They are called pickups because they pick up a signal. On the side of the engine you have this rotary arm, which also has markings when you are putting the engine in the right position to check the valves, but that's another story. And this sits on the end of the crankshaft, so this turns literally at the same speed as the engine turns. And what happens is that this tab here rotates within the pickups. The pickups are built onto the bike like this. You don't see the pickups, you just see the back plate. I'll show you in a minute on the bike. But what happens is this piece here rotates in between these pickups and goes past these little magnetic pickups here, which I can just show you here. And what they do is when they go past the pickup is your coils, where your spark plugs are fitted, are connected to this, and this tells your coil when to discharge, when it tells the coil when to brake. It used to be on breaker systems, now it's all electrical. The coils are charged and this tells it when to discharge. And we have 2 coils, so for each coil a pickup, and as we know on each coil there are 2 spark plugs, spark leads fitted. So every time this goes past a pickup, bang, it tells that coil and at those spark plugs when to send a spark. So if these aren't working, it won't know when to send the message to the coil to discharge and create a spark, and you just won't get a spark, or erratic or wrong or whatever. And basically we can measure these to see if they are working by simply measuring the resistance inside each pickup. Each pickup has a set of wires, in this case blue and black with a stripe, and on this side yellow and black, which correspond to the plug. And you measure at the plug across each set of pickups the resistance using a multimeter. Okay, so that's what it looks like off the bike. The Haynes manual, this is why I have this lying here, does state the pickup coils have a resistance on the 600 of 360 to 440 ohms. I do know that on older bikes this is a little bit higher, also depending on the temperature. So when I measure my bike now, if it is more, then that is actually to be expected. So how do you get to your pickup plug when it's fitted to the bike? Well, it's underneath here. The cabling goes underneath the clutch housing up behind the frame. If you remove the side panel, I'll take the seat off for simplicity. The wire comes up behind the ECU unit, the igniter, and you will find the plug is behind here, so the best thing to do is probably just move this out of the way, and here is where my plug is. Could be rerouted differently on your bike. You never know on these things after 30 years of where things are sitting. So basically just undo the plug here, and now I have it here in a position where I can measure the resistance across the wires. Just to recap, this sits under here. I shall take this cover off and show you in a moment. And you have a black and a yellow on one pickup, and you have a blue and a black stripe on the other pickup. So black and yellow is one side. Here I have black and yellow are the two top ones, and the blue and the black stripe one is the two bottom ones. So it's the two top ones and the two bottom ones where I shall be measuring. So now I measure my pins, black and the yellow. I'll turn it over so I can wedge my prongs in under the pins, and it's actually giving me about 500 ohms. It's a little bit more than it should be, maybe about 10%. I'm presuming that comes down to the cold. I'm not sure, it's not very cold, not very warm today. Yeah, but both sides are exactly the same. And just to check, I actually took my spare one, which I know works because it came off a working engine, and I measured that, and it actually gave me the same reading of about 500 ohms. So that's okay. And that is basically how you measure if your pickups are working. Now to get to them, on this particular case it's an 8mm bolt, which I just take off. So once I've got the cover off, it does have a dust gasket. There's no oil in here to cool it down, and here are my two pickups, and that is basically it.